If you ask any of my friends, they'll tell you that I'm a shameless LaMelo Ball fan. I've always thought that he was going to be the best out of his three brothers, and maybe it is just because I'm also the youngest of three. But now it's time to honestly assess him as an NBA player and what his ceiling and floor might be. Before I get into this, I want to thank you guys for the support. I originally wanted to end 2020 with 100 subs, and we are currently at almost 600. So big thanks for sporting logically and everyone else who has shown this channel love. It means a lot. Alright, so LaMelo clearly didn't take the traditional path to the NBA, playing for two pro teams outside the States, and even his dad's weird quasi-developmental league. And though one could say he benefited off a weak draft, his path didn't stop him from being a top 3 pick. Despite him being a sought-after prospect, LaMelo was and continues to be a topic of controversy, sparking arguments in sports bars and group chats ever since he was in high school. Some people think he's the next big thing, and others think he's just another bust who will never live up to the massive amounts of hype that surround him. But to see why people feel so strongly about him one way or another, we gotta go to the tape. So LaMelo has always had a great feel for the game. I think this is his greatest strength. The guy just looks comfortable on the court, and though some of his passes are flashy, they're predicated on an extremely high basketball IQ. Having game feel is something that is valued in all sports, and even esports, because it often comes from natural talent. You know, something you can't teach. So his passing and his playmaking are well above average and can be seen as his greatest asset. But that's not really debated, it's kind of undeniable. What can be debated is whether or not he can score the ball in a consistent fashion. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. His shot is ugly. Like, it almost looks like the ball weighs 20 pounds when he shoots it. I have to admit though, I don't really care as long as it goes in. In Australia especially, he showed signs of consistency issues. He could go off one game hitting like 4 straight threes, but then also look straight up awful from outside the arc 10 minutes later. But here's the thing. I know that it's a small sample size, but so far in the NBA, he's shooting 45% from 3. He's improved his shot selection here, and I personally think it just looks worse when he misses because of his form. I would by no means call him a bad shooter just yet. Aside from his shot, his layup package has always been sick. It can be a concern though that finishing inside against bigger NBA defenders can be more difficult for him. But this is a video about his outlook going forward, and as he gets bigger and stronger, I really doubt that this is going to be a problem when you look at the level of touch he has around the basket. This doesn't mean that he can't act a fool sometimes on the court. I mean, this is where people can really tear into him because he makes decisions sometimes that would only be acceptable if you're the best player on like a town league team. I have to say though, I like that he's this confident. This is the kind of initiative I wanted Lonzo to take, but Zoe just doesn't have this in him. LaMelo has this, I'm gonna let this 35-footer fly and if I miss, I miss kind of attitude that I really think will bode well for his development. I know that sounds weird, but I'm serious. Like we see from Dame, it's only a bad shot if you can't make it, and practice makes perfect. I just don't see what the Hornets have to lose letting him take those. It's not like they're a serious playoff threat anyways. But like anything in the NBA, confidence is key. Don't get me wrong, does it hurt to look at sometimes? Of course. Is he the perfect prospect? Far from it. But he has talent that a lot of other players wish they had, and he's only 19 years old. It's easy to pick apart a rookie, but damn, come on, like Kyle Kuzma and Buddy Hield were both like 23 coming into the league, so we shouldn't even be looking at LaMelo through a particularly harsh lens yet. It's just that he was a celebrity before the NBA, and his dad is LeVar Ball. Combine that with his janky jumper and his lackadaisical body language, and people are just going to be out to get this guy and prey on his downfall. And not to gas him up too much, but he's had a lot of pressure on him since a young age, and in my mind, he's dealt with it pretty well. He hasn't stolen any sunglasses or gotten into any drama. He seems like a kid who just genuinely loves playing basketball and keeps his head down when he's not on the court. So what is LaMelo's floor? Honestly, the player you see now, a guy who comes off the bench and makes a few sensational plays a game. But what about his ceiling? I think he could be an all-star. I haven't seen anything that would make me think that he could be a bona fide superstar. But there's also a ton of evidence that he can be the kind of playmaker that makes his teammates better, and can eventually mature into playing a big role on a dangerous playoff team. But until then, the haters can type on their keyboards all they want. I guarantee you that Melo has learned to wash that noise out a long time ago.